In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Hello and welcome to a show called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate, and everything in between, except your grace, meaning, and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
Oh, it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be a good episode.
Special episode.
This is well, we've been discussing. This is going to be the first of 3 special episodes to be spaced out over a period of time.
The triumvirate.
The triumvirate,
about
as we're calling it.
The 3 greatest ills to plague society.
So today, spoilers, we're going to be addressing Brexit, everyone's favourite non-entity of a word.
Yeah.
A future episode will be Donald Trump.
Yes.
And of course, the third one will be the Sonic the Hedgehog live-action movie.
Correct.
The stain that cannot be erased.
So we'll be reviewing that upon its release, whenever that may be.
Basically,
I don't actually know when it is.
It gets gradually worse
Yeah.
as we move through.
I think
special
we're building
episodes.
up to the biggie.
Yeah. Starting
It's fair
small.
to say.
Let's start easy, guys. Let's start with Brexit.
Yeah, I mean, and we
We should have this hashed out in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
so,
I mean, it's
yeah.
not like we need, 2 years? 3 years?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
No.
We
it's
don't
fine.
need the percentage difference between the people who couldn't vote at the time and the people who did vote for the Brexit to die. Just saying, a lot of people who voted for Brexit are now dead.
Yes.
Hashtag just saying.
And a lot of people who would have voted to remain are now of voting age.
Yes.
Cheers.
It
So
is
I guess
fun.
that worked out.
Yeah, so I guess we often say that format is king. However,
Oh, sorry, I've jumped the gun.
I
This
think
is the preamble.
Yeah,
all
yes.
I'm basically saying is format is not king today.
It's the Wild West today.
We've we figured if we didn't record an episode today about Brexit, well, as we all know, we're not going to be in the EU in 2 weeks' time.
Exactly.
So
we'll have agreed a deal. Theresa May will be promoted to Queen. And we will, England will float away from Europe.
England,
Special water wheels.
the rocket launchers will activate and we will take to the skies to Plutonia,
Alpha Centauri.
the promised land.
and
Yes.
we'll all stand on the white cliffs of Dover and just go like, oh yes, this is much better. I
Yeah,
think
with
we
a cup
can-
of tea. Oh yes, we've done very well.
What, as the missiles get closer?
The European army missiles.
Yeah.
Has anyone else noticed like an oddly like patriotic, jingoistic kind of bent to some of the YouTube adverts we've been getting lately? Or is that just me?
This is you with your
It
weird
yeah.
like social
I tend
media.
to skip them as much as I possibly
I
can.
try.
the
I
YouTube
feel like I'm
adverts.
patient zero. Like they're just trying to work
Yeah,
out
maybe
what
you-
works on me.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Well, 52% of the country would engage with that kind of content.
well, indeed, well, no, I mean,
Maybe less.
Yeah, maybe less.
but it's like,
And I don't think that age bracket uses YouTube.
Yeah, true. A YouTube.
The My Face.
I think there's like an advert from like I want to say like Morrison's, which for any of our international listeners is a supermarket chain in
Yes.
the UK.
Very popular.
And it had possibly one of the most overtly and subtly xenophobic adverts I've ever witnessed in my life.
Oh my god, I'm never shopping there again.
And it was like Carol wrote to us saying that she was disgusted. that
Carol is now dead.
It was like Carol wrote to us saying how disgusted she was that it wasn't British beef being sold in Morrison's or something like that, and we wanted to prove her wrong. So then Carol comes on down to the farm, and I swear, like
Carol.
if you listen very carefully, I'm like, are they playing Land of Hope and Glory like quietly in the background? And it's like,
The best thing about that is British beef has got a fine reputation.
Oh.
Historically, hasn't it?
nothing, nothing
Nothing
bad.
bad's ever
No.
happened, mad or otherwise.
It's been really good. Yeah, no, it's just been great as far as like I can think.
All Britain produces everything, as we know, and does it to the highest possible standards.
Which
So
is
I don't
why
think we
we've
need
got-
anyone else.
It's why we've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, no, I think we've coped for years without interacting with the outside world in any way, shape, or
Do you
form.
remember 2 years ago, roughly,
No, what
before
happened?
everything was on fire?
No.
Remember when everyone was like, "Oh, Brexit's great. It's going to be great. We're going to flourish. We're going to make our own
Sovereignty!
laws. Sovereignty. We're going to negotiate some really good deals and everything."
It's going to be great.
Now, the alarm bells should have been ringing before that, even But maybe 6 months later, maybe a day later. But let's go 6 months later for argument's sake.
Yeah, you've had time to sober up.
When we went
after a big day,
when we went from oh, we're going to flourish to there will be ample food.
Yeah.
there will be at least enough food for the blood givers.
That's what someone said. There will be
enough
enough food.
A large
Brexit.
enough percentage will survive.
Yeah. For us to rebuild.
But there comes a point where
There will be ample food.
there does come a point where you're like, we've like, every time you see a headline and you think, oh, it can't possibly get worse than that. And then it's like today they're like, oh, the Ministry of Defence is making plans for underground bases in old nuclear bunkers to plan for the crisis in the event of no deal Brexit.
It's like, was it you who was telling me about the fact that they were planning traffic jams, the inevitable traffic jams that are going to occur at the various
Jesus.
ports that we use to import food
Yeah.
from. So they actually tried to create fake traffic jams
Yes.
to assess how well we were going to cope with it. And not only were we not going to cope very well at all,
Sure.
but they failed at setting up a decent traffic jam
Yes,
as well,
well,
did they
there
not?
was a reporter.
That's the only thing we do.
That's what we export, is traffic!
There was a reporter live tweeting it saying, "I'm now in a queue I'm in a queue in Kent, queuing to get to an official queue, which is being organised by the government."
I love the idea that people want to be part of that queue. Like, oh, you heard that down the road they're doing a fake queue to try out queues for the future.
Who wants to be part of the Brexit queue?
A post-Brexit queue, and we can try it out for the first time. You know, I can imagine queuing for the release of like a new movie or like a video game that launches at midnight. Imagine queuing to get into a queue, to be the first to queue in a new kind of queue that's going to appear post-Brexit.
What a time to be alive. You got to do something until Brexit.
I mean, I guess.
You might as well queue.
Especially because everything's on fire. Like, what the fuck else are we going to do?
I hate that word as well. I've come to hate the word Brexit.
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 Yeah.
Oh, why Brexit?
It's just like nails on a blackboard now, except much worse, and it could kill me.
For the longest time, I was a kind of like a smug, because I think I've been old enough now to see, like, I've lived long enough to witness like a trend in the news.
Oh, sure.
And I feel like I was kind of just starting to be aware of this kind of stuff around the time of like a fun topic, but the Iraq War.
Hey.
You know, and I remember
That was
like
a simpler time, wasn't it?
Back when we used to just kill people.
I remember
was
when that broke
standard.
out, it was kind of like the media were almost like, oh, shit hot.
Yeah,
like,
this is a thing.
It's a war in our time, which we can
We can
record.
sell newspapers with
Yeah,
it.
like and live coverage of the whole thing, and then you start
yeah.
getting infographics and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the moment, the vote came in that the British public en masse want to leave the EU.
En masse,
They're suddenly
every
like,
single one.
how can we package this up? How can we get like 2 years of decent news coverage out of this? Oh, it's going to be a great big carnival of horrors. It's going to be amazing. It's going to write itself. Oh, Brexit. Oh, Brexit. It's snappy.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
branded it.
I wonder who came up with that. And let's go find him. That's
Somebody-
homework. Let's
Somebody
go
thought
find him.
someone was very proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're only 8 minutes in. Do you want me to go back further than the last week or not?
Well, what's
For the last few days, we've obviously had the Leave March.
I think it's worth talking about why we're doing the episode now.
Oh, let's do
Yeah,
that first.
yeah.
Yes,
because
very good.
how do you respond to the argument that politics should be kept out of things, that you should never show your hand?
Well, it depends what the thing is.
Yeah.
Doesn't it, surely? Like, I mean, but also, what do you mean? Like, so you shouldn't ever talk about politics as an entertainer of any kind?
I think as an entertainer, yeah, like, because I don't know, we're not entertainers, we're just three idiots sitting around a table. Oh, well, with the exception of Nick.
Yeah, two idiots and an entertainer.
Did you see the story about Lorraine Kelly today?
Oh, God. Yeah, let's talk about Lorraine
What?
Kelly.
No, I don't know.
This is a segue to Lorraine
Yeah.
Kelly quickly.
Oh, sweet.
Lorraine Kelly, who people may know from Good Morning Television
Yes.
and other such programmes, has avoided a £1.2 million tax bill today
Oh, good for her.
because she says she falls into the bracket of a theatrical performer playing a character on morning television called Lorraine Kelly,
That's marvellous.
and she's got out of a £1 million
Hang on,
plus
so
tax bill.
if we all say in this room that,
so
that
technically,
we're characters,
I'm a very happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
I'm playing the role of Nick, who's like a sort of deliberately stupid but also lovable idiot who talks without any sort of knowledge and expertise.
and
on
you're
any
actually
subject.
Chris.
Yes.
And I'm actually John, playing Chris.
Ironically.
Whereas I will be assuming the role of Turnip Joe. who's
Yeah.
A lovable rapscallion. He'll clean your windows, but he might steal your ladder.
He might leave some turnip grease on some things.
Anyway, that was a little segue.
Yeah, well, There's this
So what's
argument,
about keeping
the
politics
argument that
out.
would say, like, don't get political, keep politics out of things. That said, that's maybe the kind of mindset which a few years ago would have been fine.
Sure.
I feel like we live in an era now where you almost do need to take a stand about certain things. And if you...
Yeah.
I'm almost like, I've gotten to this point where my life is a near constant state of anxiety and dread about Brexit. And I'm not even one of the people who stands to be worst affected by it.
No.
And I'm like, I feel somebody should be held accountable for this.
Yeah,
like, our lives have become some kind of this grotesque charade of things we have no control over.
Yeah,
Have you noticed, right,
Yes.
that literally in the week after Brexit, let's rewind again. In the week do the heart noise. In the week after Brexit, every fucker who won resigned.
Yes.
Every single one of them.
Nobody wanted it.
Nobody wins and then resigns.
No.
Nobody.
No.
In the history of politics, apart from this. Alarm bells should have been blaring at that point.
Every person who has shouted the loudest about how well they could handle it have not been in charge.
Funny
People
that.
like UKIP have you could argue contributed massively to the sort of public hysteria around it at the time, and yet are nowhere near being actually in control of any of this stuff. So they have this immense power to just go, that's not what I'd have done. If I was doing it, I'd have got a deal by now. Or I wouldn't have got a deal at all.
Yeah.
This initially was an eat and pissing contest.
Yes.
The whole thing. There's old photos of Cameron and Johnson. I'm not going to call him Boris, and I'll come to that later.
Yeah, the Bullingdon...
There's all photos of them, and you can tell they're for all joshy friendly rivalry. It's bollocks. They've marched the country off a cliff for the sake of their eat and pissing contest.
Yep.
That's the start of this whole shambles. Is that is it?
Yep.
It's insane. And, I mean, is it just kind of generally accepted that they didn't want to win? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's this fit...
They definitely
It's
didn't
pretty
think
clear.
they did.
I mean, you take Cameron, for example. Like, he offered the referendum purely as a way to get in.
Yes.
He put it in his manifesto to appease these other Tories, obviously the likes of Johnson and whoever.
Yeah, the
and also to grab the UKIP vote.
You get like the ERG,
Yeah.
European Research Group, which is the little party run by Rees-Mogg.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so they're like, it's like an unofficial group. There's also like...
He's done very well out of Brexit, incidentally.
Well, it always, finally it's the rich white man's turn.
It's not even happened yet, and he's got 7 million up. So that's pretty good, isn't it?
The curious thing about Rees-Mogg is...
It's probably just a coincidence.
Probably a coincidence.
However rich you think he is, you're not quite there yet. Like,
Double it.
This man is astonishingly rich.
Powerfully
and
rich.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of incredible. But it's like there's his group, the ERG.
Right.
There's another group whose name eludes me, but they're called something like the 1812 Committee.
These both sound like horrifying.
Yeah,
terrorist
it's like a year.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, and again, just about like our political system, because you don't vote for a prime minister, you arguably don't vote for a party. You're just voting for an individual who happens to be. But it's like the prime minister of our Conservative government, which has been that way for several years now, are very much. Kind of they have to keep those groups happy.
Yes.
These people who are not in the cabinet, they're backbenchers, but they command a lot of
sway.
Yeah, they command a lot of sway. So it's like if you want your party
and donate a lot of money.
Yes,
we should say.
So
we should definitely say.
Yeah.
So if you want your party to stay together, if you want that kind of cohesion,
which is ironic, really, considering where we are now.
But in the spirit of cohesion and unity, which is what Brexit is really all about.
Yes. Oh, it really is about that.
You have to keep those people happy.
Yeah.
And
you want them votes.
So time and time again, the Prime Minister, rather than reaching out to the wider government, not government, the wider Parliament, has repeatedly just turned inwards to those lunatics.
Yes.
Frankly.
The fringe lunatics.
Yeah, and pandered to them. So the referendum is like, oh yeah, we'll have a referendum, and it'll keep the weirdos happy.
Yep.
But they'll never win.
No.
They'll never win.
Oh shit.
Johnson, Farage, etc. wanted to make as much noise as possible to get as much airtime as possible before this all went away.
Yes.
After the referendum, they conceded the referendum the same night they won it.
Yeah.
They conceded it. And then somehow, and they don't even know probably, now to this day, they won.
Yeah.
And then they all ran away. However, let me rewind slightly again, because David Cameron should not be allowed to get away scot-free from this.
Oh, no.
Tell me, John, where is David Cameron now?
I think, didn't he retire to a farm in the country,
Yeah.
raising
And he
animals.
Yes, and he's got a gauntlet that he keeps there with 6 stones. But the point is, nobody really knows.
Yeah,
The
where
man
is
who
he?
marched us all off a cliff
Yeah.
is
He
nowhere
start-
to be
He
seen.
started all of this. He
Is he-
started all of this for a quick fucking vote.
Do you know what's really odd? The really odd thing about David Cameron is, it's like he's a man who stood for nothing. Like he's not even.
Because he was so willing to compromise something he didn't believe in. Like, he didn't believe in leaving the EU. And he was so willing to put that in as his part of his vehicle with which to rise to power.
Instead, it's become his legacy.
Yeah, hilariously, which I think he's genuinely embarrassed about.
Yeah, I should hope so.
Yeah, and I wonder if, and I'd like to guess that he probably would if he could do it again. He'd say, "I wouldn't have done that."
I was.
I hope so.
This
I'd
is
have thought so, yeah.
It's really like they're talking about. So in the last week, so Theresa May has failed twice to bring.
Is it only twice? Feels
That's
like
this-
every
well,
day
that's
I
this
get
weekend.
a news alert saying they didn't like a deal.
Well, she's failed twice to bring through her deal.
One of the deals was just a picture of a flower in wax crayons.
Yeah,
so-
just logos.
No one actually read it. Like it's. So she failed twice.
Yes.
That's with her own deal.
Her deal.
And then no deal has failed, obviously.
Yeah, they've discounted the possibility of a deal.
But this is like I feel we could.
We're running out of options.
I feel we could spend 2 hours talking about the insanity of that. Where
Oh God, it's
they're
just
like, we voted against the deal. Okay, fine. We've also voted to reject a no deal.
Okay, fine.
Great.
So what then?
If I was the EU, I'd be like just sitting in a corner drinking very heavily. It's
I
like
think they might
when you're ready.
This week she
You
was going
weirdos.
to put a very similar deal to a vote again.
Sure.
And the Speaker of the House,
Yes, let's talk about that.
John Burko,
Burko, yes.
said, no, you're all right.
Yeah.
We'll leave that.
Because he...
And he's now being accused of obstructing
Yeah,
it.
this is
Yeah.
the mad thing, because they're talking about this as a constitutional crisis because John Burko prevented the government from repeatedly, until the end of time, putting the same bill through until people vote for it. So she puts it through, says, here's my deal, and Parliament goes, actually, we hate that. And she loses by like 273 votes to 1 or something like that.
The two that she's put
Pretty
forward
close, though.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
have been beaten by the highest margin and the 4th highest margin of any serving prime ministers, any proposal they've put forward.
Wow.
Her two proposals.
Well, one of her party did say that they think that Theresa May may be the worst prime minister in the history of prime ministers. That might be true.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit here and defend Theresa May.
No.
However, she has been dealt an incredibly
Oh,
rough
yeah.
hand.
No, she absolutely has. And certainly because she didn't believe in that either.
Well, the thing
It's
is,
ju-
so
yeah.
now they're angry now.
About Burko.
They're angry now because they're saying Burko has invoked a constitutional crisis because he's prevented the government from doing what it wanted to.
Sure.
However,
Nothing to do with the MPs who would definitely have rejected it.
no, I mean he's, but I mean let's just think about that for a minute. So it's okay.
Chew on that egg.
It's okay for the government to keep voting on the same thing until they
Oh, I
get
see
the
where you're
answer
going
they
with this.
won't.
Yeah.
But apparently putting it back to the people is completely
That's
out of the
the
question.
destruction of democracy, John. What do you... Yeah, if you didn't get the result you want, you're just going to go again.
But
It's amazing, isn't it?
it's astounding.
It's amazing hypocrisy at work.
He's invoked a 400-year-old rule called Erskine May, ironically enough,
That is ironic.
which basically means that the government can't keep saying the same thing until people are just so fed up that they vote for it.
Yeah.
But interestingly,
You could have saved a lot of time if he'd done that 2 years ago.
Maybe, oh my god, maybe this is just a massive Kobayashi Maru. Like,
But
it
this-
That would be
it
amazing.
can't be solved.
there's no way to. Well,
You've
that
got to crash the ship into the Klingon homeworld. That's not what
would,
they did. I don't know why I
wouldn't
said
that, but wouldn't that be? I mean, like balls of steel to everyone involved. But if that's literally the plan, is that we've made it so utterly insane for 3 years
Yeah,
that it just doesn't happen.
yeah.
Because
Oh my god, yes. You've almost... What if that's true? What if there's some weird, like, large-scale filibustering going on here?
What,
Where
is
it's
it-
just like, let's just make it so complicated it can't possibly happen, and no one can be blamed for it.
what in like we flash forward like 2 months and they're basically going like, because of the political impasse we've had to cancel Brexit, and they're just going to look and then like they're just going to look at you son of a bitch.
And like, everyone just points each other with
Winks to
sunglasses
camera,
on.
yeah.
Like, all right.
We
free
did.
frame,
Yes, they
end,
could
credits roll.
just do all this. They could just go, thanks for the referendum, people of England and Scotland and Wales.
Advisory, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for your directive. We've explored all the possible avenues, and it turns out that we cannot achieve this
It just can't be done.
in a short, medium, or long-term manner that benefits the country as a whole. So we're just gonna knock it
Yeah.
on the head.
Because But these are things like it can't be. The reality that was sold when they go.
Well, that ship sailed 100 years
You
ago.
go like, okay, we're going to have a referendum to leave the EU, and it's going to be like that, and then suddenly we'll have all that money back, and it'll be great. That is impossible.
That was
just
never like that
cannot
was
be
why
done.
I didn't vote for it, because I knew that was never on the table.
Thing is, there were enough people. Let's talk about the people, because it's your fault as well.
You, listener, listen up.
Enough people didn't know what the fuck they were voting for.
No.
That made a difference in that referendum. I don't care what anybody says, that is true.
That is a fact.
Yes.
I didn't.
I didn't understand it, A, to the degree I do now,
Certainly
and B,
not.
certainly I don't understand it to the degree of others now. I wouldn't pretend that I do.
No.
And also, I mean, there was perhaps some people who were just voting in a very contrary manner. It's the same. It's the same way that it's the same thinking that got Trump into power. They were so fed up with the status quo,
Yeah.
which was pretty crap.
Change is good,
But
right?
like anything's better
Yeah.
than continuing as we are.
Yeah.
Having said that,
Having said that,
I would be willing to wager that a load of people who voted to leave the European Union thought that we'd be out in a fortnight and there'd be a big wall up around the country.
Yeah.
In a fortnight.
Yeah.
Done. Job done. Right, we're done. Out we go.
Probably true. To be honest, I didn't realise that even at the time of the referendum that it was going to be as far away as it was.
Yeah.
And I thought that it would just happen. There would be a sort of click of the fingers and it would be done.
Yeah.
I did not. Although I thought that the task was practically impossible, I thought that the bastards would find a way. That's literally what my
Ultimately,
slogan
they
was.
gave an option to the nation that wasn't available.
no, it just doesn't exist.
It
Correct,
appears.
yeah.
It
appears.
just doesn't exist because, and I do not know why. Well, I think I know why, but it's like this thing leaked out of the EU a few weeks back, and everyone was like, "Oh, look at like this secret plan which has come out of the EU."
The European Army.
Yeah, well, no, it was like this is how the EU considers Britain, and it was like this big hoo-ha. And it's like,
bunch of
no, it wasn't. Well, yes, but like this is not a secret. This was presented to Britain like a couple of years ago. It's basically like a chart showing the various relationships you can have with the EU, where on the left you're a member, and on the right you're not, and you have no relationship. And it says like, so you're either a member, and it's like great, and you accept the 3 core principles of the EU. It's like free movement of people, free movement of goods, and like free movement of services. I think I've got that wrong, but it's basically like these are the things.
Definitely goods and people, I think.
Yeah, like, these are things which can go anywhere in the EU. But it's like, okay, so next stage down, you've got like a Norway situation. Like Norway isn't in the EU, but they're bound by the same trade laws, but they don't get to vote on things. But you still have to have the free movement of because if you want to be part of the EU or be so close to the EU that's practically indistinguishable, you have to like
core principle shit.
It's emblazoned on the wall. Look, like guys, you can be in the club, but there's 3 things you have to be okay with.
Zoom in on the circle of yellow stars, it says it in tiny.
Yeah, literally, like it's written there. So we can't do that because Theresa May is like, no, we will not accept the free movement of people, and the EU is like, well, okay, well, what's the next step down? So you start working down all these steps, and it's like, okay, what if we're like Switzerland? And Switzerland get some of the benefit, like they get some of the benefits. They're bound by all the rules, but they don't
get to vote.
They'll get any say in anything. But they still have free movement of people. But we don't want the free movement of people.
Okay, let's go down.
Let's go down. So you start going down. Okay, what if you're like Trinidad and Tobago and you have like this loose trading relationship with the EU? Like we wave at each other in the corridor. Like, are you okay with that? And but they still have the free movement of people. It's like, no, we don't want that.
Let's go lower.
So literally, there is nowhere to go. So all these people were looking at this slide going, this proves that the EU is forcing us out.
We are on the same sort of scale now as the lost city of Atlantis.
Basically, notionally fictional.
Yeah.
May or may not actually exist.
The EU
Must be a joke.
The EU will only refer to us in stories and songs around a fireplace, you know. And
that's the only memory that will exist of us anyway.
It's just baffling. And you look at the amount of like Brexit secretaries who quit.
Have you noticed how they've all quit?
Yeah, because they go like,
it's the impossible job.
Yeah, because they go like, well, we're going to get all the goodies from being in the EU, and we're going to get a vote on matters, but we're not going to pay the membership fee, and we're not going to allow anyone to move into our country without.
It's like the alchemy ministry. It's like, right, we just need to assign an alchemy minister who's just going to turn some lead into gold.
Oh, sure.
Oh, turns
That'd
out
be good,
that
wouldn't it?
can't be done. Fire him. Let's get another guy.
Yeah,
Turn that
and the
sweet
next
lead
guy's
into
waiting in the
gold.
wings going, I have strong feelings
I know,
about
I can
lead
do
into
this.
gold.
This guy says he thinks lead can be made into gold. Appoint him.
A week later, can't be done.
Can't be done. Like, categorically, guys, can't be done. No, I can do it. Okay, get him in.
We gained like a new universities minister for like a couple of weeks. Then he resigned when he learnt that we wouldn't be part of the European space programme anymore if we left the EU.
Well, Dodoy.
Who thought? I mean, good God.
I mean, European
Well,
is in the word.
Thankfully, the UK space program is very strong.
Oh.
Yeah.
I set fire to a stick the other day, and that went further. Nothing kidding about rocket
It's a
science.
new record.
Smash cut to a bin in a field.
Outstanding.
We're nearly there.
With the Union flag on the side of it.
The whole thing has shone a light on how arrogant this country is.
Oh, we are astonishing.
We are a
arrogant,
piece
yeah.
of shit
We are.
nation. I'm sorry, we are.
People keep saying, "Oh, the European Union need to come back to us with something." No, they don't.
No, they
No,
bloody fucking
no,
don't.
they don't.
They are fine. They will be fine. Yes, we are a fairly large economy, but they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We know they're gonna
Why?
be fine.
I have no idea
Don't
why
blow
they
smoke
need
up your own
to
ass.
come
Okay.
to us.
Well, here's the thing. Did you know, fun fact, the Brexit which was sold to people on the side of buses, you know,
I
let's
wondered
leave,
how long it would take us to say bus.
let's leave the EU, it's going to be great. Did you know that could not possibly exist in any reality post 1997? So after we signed the Good Friday Agreement,
Yeah.
which, you know, brokered a wonderful peace in Ireland, it just...
Which we're intent on destroying.
Which
it
we're intent on
seems.
destroying.
Doing our best.
It just does not exist anymore, because from that moment on, we maintained a hard land-based border with the EU.
Yeah.
And Ireland, we have a responsibility to Ireland. So we're going like, oh, the EU, they're just bullying us. They're picking... No, I'm sorry to say, we might be the bad guys here.
Yeah.
And the EU is actually protecting the rights of Ireland. So we're saying like, oh, the EU is this horrible monster. It just consumes the rights of the individual countries. Like, well, actually, the EU is standing up for an individual country called Ireland, which is being picked on by a very unfeeling country called the United Kingdom, which is trying to shaft them. Like, for lack of a better word.
There isn't a better word.
So
No,
keep
it's
going
true.
like, oh, we can't have a backstop. We can't have anything which will protect the Irish border. Why not?
Yeah.
If I was Irish, I'd be livid. I'd be
Yes.
absolutely livid.
God.
To any of our Irish listeners, I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah,
so
the
sorry.
thing is, there's no magic money tree, John. Obviously,
no,
and
of course
that's
not, no.
why £1 billion went to the DUP in Ireland to make sure the Conservatives got in after they botched their last general election.
Yes, no.
That is the equivalent in football terms of losing a home game, cup final, 3-0 to your nearest rivals. that general election. Did you all notice? So notice. Speaking of democracy,
Oh,
John,
please,
so
yeah,
I know
love
democracy is very important to this whole process. The current prime minister wasn't actually elected when she took the job.
No.
It's interesting, that isn't it? That we didn't actually vote for her, but we got her.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That's interesting.
It is odd.
Actually.
And that kind
Democracy.
of... Yeah, that does...
Democracy's great, though. I love democracy.
That does kind of get closer to the constitutional crisis, which does exist. It's not because John Bercow stopped the government doing what he wanted to do. There is a constitutional crisis here because, basically...
The thing is, John.
Yeah, sorry,
to
please.
interrupt
No,
you.
please,
If
yeah.
I came round your house
Please,
and I
borrow you.
shit on your floor, and then I came round your house a week later and I shit on your floor again, and both times you said, "Please don't shit on my floor," you would be within your rights to say to me a third time when I came over, in advance, "No, I would rather today you didn't shit on the floor."
You came round bottomless.
And
ready to
I
shit.
would say, "Oh, that's fair enough, John. Not I'm going to put you on the front page and call you a monster."
Yes, no, it's a fair point.
Yeah.
Okay, but look, we have a parliament. We have a parliamentary system. It's old, it's stupid.
Roughly
but
speaking.
we're not a republic,
No.
so we don't have a Senate, we don't have a Congress, we still have a constitutional monarch, so we have a Queen who rules over us.
The Queen has been about as unsubtle as she can be about what she thinks about all this, by the way. She wore like a Brexit flag hat into Parliament. It's blue hat with like yellow dots on it.
Oh my
That is as unsubtle as the Queen gets.
That's very true.
So, we're not a dictatorship, incredibly.
Not yet.
We're not a dictatorship.
Give it time, John.
Okay, give it time. So, we had a referendum, which is where our parliament, whose job it is to, for better or for worse, I think we can all agree they're far from perfect, to argue stuff out. But we had a referendum. And a referendum is meant to deliver a clear, decisive thing.
Yes.
The country has spoken, or
They want this.
the country's spoken. Well, I mean, however many turned out to vote, like the 36% or whatever turned out to vote. But, the country has spoken, and bang, we want to leave the EU. So there is a constitutional crisis here, because for the last 2 years, Parliament has been left with a very difficult decision where they're like, well, we're elected officials, elected to make decisions on behalf of the country, but we've completely bypassed us by having a referendum. So what is our purpose?
Yeah, true.
Well, they had to have a vote, didn't they?
Yes.
And there was so much pressure on them to go with the referendum.
Yeah.
Even though that was, as we keep saying, not legally binding.
And also the funny thing is, if they had gone with the referendum, that would have meant that half of them would have disagreed. Anyway, so they would have, again, they have to mimic the country, do they then?
So
when you're doing, say, Theresa May's vote to put her deal through, there has to be more of a gap than, let's say, 4 MPs.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, you need. But it's like, it's an interesting point though. What is your job? If you're an MP and your town
your
constituency voted overwhelmingly to leave, but you think that's a bad idea, what do you do?
Yeah, Cheltenham, where we are, voted to remain.
Yeah, Cheltenham is actually a.
And our
is that right?
And Alex Chalk, our MP, voted to leave.
Right. So
because he likes doing the party line.
He is. I don't believe he's ever voted against what the party whip is.
Funny that.
Yeah. That's an apolitical statement. That's a fact. That's just a fact.
I saw him cycling down the road the other day, Alex Chalk.
Did you throw a
stick into his space? And I regret tripping him over.
Will you regret it?
No.
But yeah, this is apparently. There haven't been many referendums in the UK's history. There was one in the 70s, which I think also related to. I'm going to get this wrong now, but vaguely in the 70s, and it related to joining
the common market. Wasn't it?
Joining the common market. Yeah, and the referendum was like yes, and MPs were like yes, and roughly by the same proportion.
Oh, interesting.
So the referendum was completely in line with the will of Parliament.
Okay.
Then there was a referendum in the last 10 years for proportional representation in Parliament, which I think is a crying shame that didn't go through, because we wouldn't quite be in the mess we're in now.
No surprises why it didn't, though.
Yes, indeed. But sadly, only 30% of the population said yes. So 70% overwhelmingly were like, no, we don't want proportional representation. And Parliament was the same. This is the first referendum in modern history where they've differed massively.
Interesting.
Where it's like 70% of Parliament wanted to remain in the EU, whereas, of course, as we've seen, like a very narrow margin.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and this is the facts. Is they've done. Yeah, but I've looked at the data, and it's interesting because there is a disparity there. So Parliament are now like, what do we do? And I don't want to keep going back to John Bercow, but after Theresa May's statement a couple of days ago, where she's like, this isn't my fault. The people want to leave. It's the will of the people. It's Parliament's fault that this hasn't happened. And he had to go to Parliament and he had to say, none of you are traitors. It is your job as a member of Parliament to vote for what you think is right or wrong.
I think you're I think you're nailing something here, because like this will of the people has been used as a defence. Like this idea that we can't possibly betray what was said in the referendum, and it's like you are physically capable of doing that. Because, as we've discussed before, it was advisory. Yes, you may not get a great amount of publicity for it, but maybe stand by with what you believe in on some level. You know, we do vote these leaders in to lead the country because, on the one hand, we believe that they are more equipped with more knowledge and experience and understanding to do it. Because if you chucked me into Parliament right now, I wouldn't have any idea what the greater ramifications of something I might say would have. So we have to, on some level, trust that they know better than we do on some level. Yes, we gave them our opinion, but it is advisory. Bottom line, it was advisory.
It is worth pointing out that a week before the referendum, an MP was murdered by an extremist for defending for her views.
Yes.
Because they were Leave, and obviously she was Remain, and other obviously opinions and whatever came into that. But there is almost a fear now that you're going to end up on the front page of the Daily Mail being called a traitor of the country. And I don't blame them for being scared.
Well,
they are. True. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the problem is like when you start talking about fascism, people go like, "Oh, you're leaping towards very ugly
Really
terms
extreme,
there. Yeah, whoa. But it's like when the judges, when like the Supreme Court,
Oh yeah.
a couple of years ago now, when the Supreme Court said, "Hang on a minute, it's for law. The referendum is not legally binding.
You have to agree as a government.
Parliament has to have a vote on this."
Yeah.
And when the Daily Mail published pictures of all of them and said enemies of the people,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
Yes.
That is
Monstrous.
That terrifies me because that is the language of fascism. That's terrifying, is it not? Yeah.
Well, I think in this
There's not a lot
country,
more you can say, is there, about
the closest
about
we
that?
have to fascists is the Daily Mail. It is
Yeah.
one of the worst things on the fucking face of the planet. That newspaper is one of the worst things I know of that exists today.
It's monstrous. Yeah, it's absolutely
And
monstrous.
I will not tolerate it when people refer to like, oh, the press is shit anyway, or all newspapers are shit. To some extent, yes, that's true. They're all opinionated toe rags. That's a fact. But the Daily Mail is actively, disgustingly vicious and violent. It is a stain on us as a civilization, and it needs to be removed.
Yeah, it's
Fundamentally awful.
It's grotesque, and it's also like it's not as if we're very good at, and we're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Like I see things on social media and go like, "Oh, I read it, therefore it's true," or it aligns with what I agree with. So that becomes like my soapbox.
My truth.
Yeah.
But then you've got to be savvy enough, or one has to be savvy enough to, if you're going to be,
My lover.
yeah,
Gotta get rid of my friends.
if you're going to be convictive about that, or you've got to know it. Don't just read it and then go, "Oh yeah, it's an opinion." And too many people do that.
Yeah.
They'll read something and go with absolute conviction, that is a fact. And then if you question them, "Oh, what makes you say that?" Or, "Oh, what information have you got that backs that?" They'll just go, "Oh, I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Or they'll be
Hot
worse.
Guy 321 tweeted it."
Oh, I love
guy.
Hot Guy.
Yeah, he's a dish.
He is
but-
dishy as fuck.
I mean, just as a sign of like the bizarre life we find ourselves in at the moment. Today, this petition launched where you know you
It's
can,
very convenient for this podcast.
you can go to the government website and you can sign a petition, an official petition, to say revoke Article 50. Let's not leave the EU.
Is this the first time we've had this as an official petition?
Incredibly, yes.
I think it's cool.
Or maybe there've been early ones we just haven't heard about it.
Okay.
But as of I think 5 p.m. today, 1.2 million people had signed it.
Wow.
So you only have to hit 100,000, and the government has to debate it in
wow.
Parliament. So that could be nothing more than somebody standing up and go, "What do we think about this?" And everyone going, "No," and then they go, "Okay, fine."
Yeah,
like,
sure,
but
of
it has
course.
to be
It has to be
acknowledged.
said at least, yeah.
But because there's so much activity, the website kept crashing.
Right.
So a Twitter bot whose previously its only purpose had been to tweet dick jokes
Brilliant.
was reprogrammed to tell you what the standing count was of how many people had voted, and it's something like, "This is the hero we need, like, not the hero we deserve." So I've been following this bot all day that will just like
legendary bot.
every few seconds just go like, "Yeah, 900,000 people have voted. 1 million people have voted." Like just that's it. Like.
And every now and then it's like, oh, and dicks as well.
And this is where we've got to. Like, this is like, I'm looking to a dick bot.
Dick bot is telling you political information.
That restores an element of faith in my book.
Yeah. Hey, dick bot for Prime Minister. That's what I say.
Oh, man.
I appreciate the intention of this petition, and I probably will sign it
Yeah.
because I agree with it.
I probably will as well. I haven't yet.
However, we already know that enough people dispute leaving.
Yeah.
I don't know what difference it makes.
I don't
if I'm
do-
honest.
We'll do Parliament now. I guess is the question.
I have signed it, and I don't think it's going to make any difference at
No,
all.
and I will sign it, and I think you've got to do something.
Yeah,
do
it's
what
worth signing to be
do what
part
you
of it.
can.
Because they keep saying, like, engage in political processes. Like, I have.
Yeah.
Time and time again, I didn't vote for this. Like,
Democracy doesn't stop at a vote.
no, it's like, and if it did, we'd never have another general election.
Exactly.
Everyone's saying, like, "Oh, we can't have another referendum. We can't do this." I mean, frankly, they're not going to at this point.
I mean, this plays into something I was going to raise as a specific hate, is the term Ramona. Is the idea that anyone who continues to talk negatively about the fact that they didn't get the result they wanted from the referendum is moaning about it.
Oh,
It's like,
yes.
No, that's political discussion, mate. Just because you got everything you wanted, I'm talking to a leaver now, why do you have such a problem with us discussing / being upset about something that didn't go the way we want it to go when it affects everyone and everything? Like, Yeah, of course we're going to keep talking about it because that's fucking democracy, my friend.
Yeah.
My good chum.
There have been protests since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
For things that
against laws.
People get, sometimes they get them, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
That is free will.
There was a time when the law stated that women couldn't vote. And people protested. The law said it. The thing that we're being told right now to just accept at face value because, oh, well, the people have spoken. The laws have spoken. This is how it is. No. It used to be like that when the world was disgusting. And we changed it by moaning. That's how we fucking changed the world. We're going to keep moaning, you absolute fucks.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep happening. I'm sorry, I'm doing it now.
No, but also it's like the referendum did not explicitly say, it was not a referendum saying, vote yes if you would like to leave the EU on the 27th of March 2019.
At 3:24.
That was not the referendum. It's like, even today, people going like, oh, people should stop, what referendum this, petition that, just respect the vote. Respect the vote, man.
Just respect the vote.
Yeah, we voted to leave on the 27th of March. No, you didn't.
No.
You voted to leave the EU and you trusted in your government to secure a sensible negotiation. And everyone keeps going like, oh no, it's going to be done. Well, give Farage the job then.
Yeah.
Go on, let's.
He's the one who's been most vocal about the fact that he reckons he could have done it by now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd like to see you do that.
I mean,
mate.
that would have been fascinating, seeing he doesn't stick around long enough in European Parliament to do anything.
We'd have
it's
watched the man
astonishing.
deflate.
You see that video? He just did his little gambit and then fucked off.
Yeah. He's actively been sabotaging us as a country for all the years he's been an MEP.
Yeah.
Making friends with all his nationalist buddies who have only joined the EU as MEPs. It's like some kind of like masterful prank. So you get all these right-wing nationalist groups going, "Oh, it's really funny. I'm going to join. I'm going to be an MEP, and I'm just going to sit there and smoke fags and like throw paper planes at the teacher."
Yeah.
Farage is a trickster who wants you to think he's one thing when he is actually the complete opposite.
Oh,
if you ever see him challenged without being dragged away by his entourage, you will see him lose a lot of arguments.
Oh, but
feel free to look that up on YouTube. He loses a lot of arguments relating to Brexit specifically.
The thing is, Chris.
Go on, John.
I'm holding in my hand right now a can of Jamaican. Oh no, let's call it not Jamaican beer, but good English stout. I'm enjoying an English beer.
Oh.
And when I see Nigel Farage in his tweed jacket, and he's
holding a pint,
and he likes a pint, doesn't he? He's one of the lags. He needs to maybe loosen his collar a bit. But
I imagine when the cameras, that when Krusty films the Krusty Burger ad, and he eats a bit, he goes, and then the cameras stop rolling. Blah! He spits it out.
It's poison.
Yeah.
But it's like, he speaks to me. He's a man of the people.
Yeah.
Didn't he work in investment banking?
He definitely has a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the people are on private jets as well, aren't they? That's
indeed.
The thing. A lot of the people are on the same private jet that he hires to go back and forth to Brussels.
These single-seater, one-man capacity private jets that he flies.
Yeah.
But he's a member of Parliament, isn't he, Nigel Farage?
Yeah. No, wait. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not. No. So you're saying like he's never actually been elected as
unbelievable.
I think he might be no one.
It's almost like he had a very peculiar axe to grind. I mean, like, look at Nigel Farage and he's like, oh yeah, immigration. I'm like, Nigel, when did you last converse with anybody who isn't white? Like, Nigel, really?
Has he got a German wife as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. There's a good clip of him I saw that he's on this was quite a few years ago. He's on the street and he's just being interviewed and someone in the background goes, racists, homophobes, and he goes, oh, I don't think we're homophobes. And it's just like, oh my life.
Oh, you walked into that, Nigel.
But that's a big thing, isn't it? Like,
I don't think. I like us don't think as well. I better check the manifesto.
There's a big thing about like, oh, we're not racists. No, what you actually mean is you're not a loud racist. What you mean is that you're very polite in your racism.
Yeah.
Or if we're not talking racism, let's call it xenophobia, which is very much like, I just like. You're running. Like, the entire principle is like the outside is weird and scary, and they don't boil all their food. They occasionally use butter, and we're like.
Despite the fact that, like, for tens of years we've been part of the EU, and we've all of us in this room, and practically everyone I've ever spoken to has travelled to various places or many places in Europe. Like we know it's fine. We know it's great.
That's about to become a lot harder.
That's going to be way harder.
But we'll have blue passports, so that'd be good.
Thank fuck for that.
They were talking to
Those iconic blue passports.
I don't give a fuck.
They were interviewing some British expats who live in Spain, and they were saying like, well, how do you feel like when, you know, and they're like, oh, we voted to leave the EU. And they're like, yeah, but, you know, you'll lose your EU health card, the card that guarantees you free healthcare coverage.
Yep.
And we're like, well, we'll just have to pay for it, won't we? Like, yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when you break your hip. Like,
I bet you'll love it then.
Some of the clips you see on the news, I make the mistake of watching the news sometimes, are absolutely terrifying. Like, they do vox pops with average Joe, and one guy I saw was interviewed, and they go, oh, what do you think about Brexit and the potential for all these disasters to happen simultaneously? and he just goes, oh, I think we could do with going out for a while, make people appreciate what we used to have.
So you're pro what the EU used to give us, and you think that the best course of action is to kick us out so we'll appreciate it more? We can't get it back.
We won't get it back.
We'll never get it back. If we go now, we'll never get back what we had. There's no vehicle, possibility, or chance in fucking hell that we will ever, because they would make an example of us if we tried.
That was broadcast on the 6 o'clock news.
And because, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, we have to have both sides of the argument. It's like, you know, and here's...
I was thinking that, like the three of us are all in complete agreement.
Yeah.
So.
We have to have both sides of the argument. Oh, you know, here's Florence from the Institute of Study. She's, you know, she's Professor of Economics. She's been working on this for years. What do you think? I think this is terrible for the economy. That's great. Here's Nigel. He's pissed off and he's from Doncaster. What do you think? Well,
it's a bloody disgrace. I mean, I can't get a job as a whatever I used to do or whatever.
We're just going to dig for victory. I don't have a garden, Nigel. Well, you know,
I won't have after we leave. Because somebody's going to detonate my garden.
The people who moan that they can't get any jobs, they're never doctors, are they? Amazing that.
The thing is, say it happens. Like, say.
That's going to happen.
And look, we're doing this now as like three exasperated people who voted, lost, and this is now out of our control. It's very much out of our control. So all we have is moaning. Like literally all we have.
That's our currency.
And I'll continue to do it.
Yeah. Don't expect me to go quietly into the night. Just, you know.
Right.
Okay, but all we have is to moan. So it's completely out of our control. It happens. Brexit happens. We wake up at some point and we've left the EU. Will these people be happy?
I wonder.
What's going to change? Are we all just going to wake up and suddenly feel more British? Like we're suddenly just going to go, oh yes, no.
Oh,
they were
I'm
right.
not sure what feeling British is now.
Shame.
I don't know if I want it, even if we can work out what it is.
But this country's a bit shit.
Yes.
Any weather that's not fiercely mild, and it's like, oh, the schools are shut, the trains are out of service, shut everything down,
leave.
But it's like, what? If you'd asked me that like 10 years ago, I would have said that like one of the greatest qualities of Britain is our self-effacing, like jokey, like we know
we're not even that
we
anymore.
know we're not important.
Sardonic,
yeah,
like,
we can laugh at ourselves.
As I said in a previous episode, everyone's so uptight now.
We can't laugh at ourselves now, especially about this.
Yeah, even though the entire world is laughing at us.
Yeah. Oh, and they are.
Yeah.
Like Ali's dad lives in France, and he's over right now. And I said, "Is there anything I can take to the podcast tonight?" He was like, "Only that France is laughing at you."
Yeah.
I was like, "Cool."
Yeah.
That'll do.
And this is when you start getting this dangerous talk, like when Theresa May starts going like, "Oh, if you're not a citizen of Britain, you're a citizen of nowhere," or you know, we need.
I almost am a citizen of nowhere, to be honest. If this
we
happens,
will be in a couple of weeks.
We need to be patriotic. We need to pull together.
We never need to be patriotic.
It's such an ugly word. It really bugs me.
Yeah, I don't like that word anymore.
Because if you've not lived in every country on the planet, how can you statistically say which is the best?
Exactly.
You know,
and also, why would you ever want to?
Yeah.
Why would you ever want to? Let's say you did visit every fucking country in the world, and then it's like, now I have to do it. Do you? Why do you have to say which country is the best? Why does it matter which one is the best?
Why?
And even then, it's just your opinion.
Yeah. So shut up.
Why do I have to hate? Somebody,
everyone else.
Yeah, why is it like me against the world? I don't get it. And it's just like
patriotism is one of the ugliest things we have as a species.
Why did we get so insecure? Like what went wrong where we had to try and reclaim some kind of golden yesterday that didn't really exist?
That was good, John. That was poetic.
Well, I just the 50s were great, but also a lot of polio. You know,
polio.
Well, that's going to be good, isn't it? Get polio back.
Oh, rickets.
Can't wait to get polio back.
Oh, that's
Blue
going to be great.
passports and polio.
Oh,
lads.
The thing is, like, the daft thing is that, like, if you moan and look at us, we're all a bunch of liberal so-and-so's having a moan about all this. But, like,
We-
if we...
Thing is, we're not like hippie jam fest liberals. I feel we
I'm
live
a bit of a hippie jam fest.
well, all right, but
Jam.
we live fairly stably in the real world.
Yeah, we understand what's necessary.
I enjoy Jamaican lager every
Yes,
now and then.
well, there it is.
How dare you, John?
But it's like-
Unspecified stripe.
But when they turn around and go like, oh, okay, you're just some, liberal, Yahoo or whatever. Like, what do you love about the EU? You're saying the EU's perfect. I'm like,
No.
well, no,
Obviously not.
But it's a massive trading bloc, and why wouldn't you want to be part of it?
Mm.
And the beauty, and yeah, if we're part of it, we get a vote on these things.
Since when has not working together been the best option?
Yeah.
Since when in history has that ever been the best way to go?
Because congratulations, you hate the EU. Now we're no longer a part of it, have no say on what they do, and we're at the mercy of
And
their...
it still will affect us. It
Yes.
doesn't matter how much of a non-member we are, it's still going to affect every aspect of our trading lives.
It's astonishing.
I can't get my head around it, which is I feel like we're going to be here in a year. Honestly, I do, and the next year. And
I
the
think
year
that's
after
more
that.
likely. I think maybe the rest of our lives will be defined by this.
The thing is, they've asked for an extension now.
Yes.
For 3 months, I think, which is
Yes.
just ahead of the next EU vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they obviously want to be out by then.
That's the
They
plan.
don't want to be. I can't see it happening.
Because
I can't see any scenario in which we'll be ready in 3 months or something will be agreed in 3 months.
And I think this is why a lot of the blame has to be laid on the door of Theresa May. Which I should probably say I'm not massively impressed with Labour, actually, and how they've been acting about this as well. But, like...
Corbyn, as much as when he came into sort of a position of power, his ideology, I think, won a lot of people over, which is cool.
Yeah.
But he's not very good.
He's been awful in
He
opposition.
every day at the moment he keeps doing something that just makes him look stupider and stupider. Like he's got no interest in actually taking this country forward. That's how it appears to me anyway. He's got no interest in doing it. He's just trying to be obstructive to a degree.
It's just so mad that we have an opposition which isn't actually opposing.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
They're kind of basically just saying we would do the same thing, but we just do it better.
Yeah.
It's
like how?
Yeah, if you got the job tomorrow, Corbyn, you would not do any better than Theresa.
But it's like, Theresa May, it's like, it's all coming out now, and everyone's saying, like, by all accounts, she's an awful negotiator. Like, the last person on the planet you'd want to be negotiating
She comes across very awkward.
Well, it's like...
To be fair, I haven't been in a room with her negotiating, which is always what I'm going to, like...
Well, it's like...
out,
but it's why I actually don't have any sympathy for her.
I don't have any sympathy for
Because-
her. No, don't get me wrong.
Because, like, people are saying, like, by all accounts, her idea of being strong, her idea of being decisive is to never compromise. When in reality, everything about life is compromise.
Yeah.
That's not how negotiation works.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it is compromise. You offer 60 quid for a cow, they go, I want 100 quid. You have to change your offer now.
Yeah.
That's how
80.
it works.
I'd go 80, I think.
Or you meet
In the
What, at
middle.
that point?
At that point, I'd go 80.
You try and meet people halfway.
I want 90.
So they're saying that even...
82.
You've got it. Cow is yours.
Yes!
But even now, it's like...
I don't want it.
So she went back to the... She's gone back to the EU, and she said, I would like an extension. Now, by EU kind of rules, there are two ways to ask for an extension. The first one is to ask for a short extension.
Sure.
So you go like, look, we've decided what we want to do. We're in utter agreement. We want to leave the EU. We just need like a month to maybe
Nail down
set
deets.
up a new website,
Oh,
create a new stamp, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh,
just,
the Brexit stamp.
yeah,
Die
just
the
yeah.
passport.
the Brexit pound.
The Brexit, was it the Brexit £10 note?
Yeah.
They're going to release a special edition £10 note. There's just a meme of this kid talking to his dad going, Daddy, can I hold the Brexit £10 note, please? Well, there's just an explosion in the background.
No, son, we need the linen for bandages. But and the other extension is and the other one is to go. We need a long extension because
fucked.
the process hasn't really worked. We need a do-over. That's basically like you can go. Look, we have no consensus.
Do-over.
Yeah, so
It's taken us years to get to this
yeah,
point.
but those are the options. So
Imagine a repeat of the last 2 years.
yeah,
Imagine.
it'd be astonishing.
I genuinely think there'd be damage if that happened.
I can't see at the moment a scenario where we're not going round in circles, round and round and round, doing the same thing again and again. Say Theresa May resigns. We'll start all over again with another Prime Minister negotiating their deal. Then that'll get rejected by Parliament. Then eventually they'll get frustrated and resign. And we'll start all over again. If it sounds boring me saying it, imagine living it for the next 10 years.
But she didn't even do that right. Because she went back to them and was like, we need a short extension because we are in 100% agreement and we just need to sort out technicalities.
Yeah, but we're not.
But we're not. And the EU are like, look, we watch television. Like,
We know you're
we
not.
know what's happening in Britain. So they've gone back to her and they've said, look, we'll give you until the 22nd of May. But if you stay any longer than that, you have to hold MEP elections.
Yeah.
And
Then you're in again.
And then she comes back and gives a statement to hold elections for members of the European Parliament would be a great betrayal of the will of the people who voted decisively to leave the EU.
Let's wheel that one out again.
But I'm like, Theresa, we're still in the EU until we leave.
Yeah.
Like, we have to play.
act.
We have to play by those
We
rules.
have to because we're in it.
Why
I
are we?
sort of want to see that happen to see if Farage goes for it.
That would be
Once
fantastic.
tries to get re-elected, because they'll be like, Nigel, why are you being trying to get re-elected to the European Parliament?
I want a paycheck.
Well, can we talk about possibly the best outcome when Brexit finally happens? If it happens, at least Nigel Farage will be out of a job.
Yeah, true. There's nothing
Yeah.
for him to talk about anymore.
And literally, he won't be a member of the European Parliament anymore.
No, he can't be that, and he has no soapbox to stand on and no cause to shout about anymore.
I'm at a point,
Maybe he'll start shouting about going back in.
yeah. I'm at a point where it's like, if we're going to leave, just leave. I've had enough.
I was
Yeah.
at that point like a year
Yeah,
ago. though,
I've
like-
just had enough of it.
Yeah, because we have to acknowledge we're moaning from a position of futility. Like we
Yeah,
had
do
our
know-
say,
We know
and
that.
we
do know. We're
yeah.
moaning because, like you say, it would be a crime to do nothing. But we're not moaning in the sense that we think that our moaning will change the minds of the Parliament. Like I accepted that result unwillingly days after it was made clear to us all. Like I had to accept it.
Yeah.
But accepting it and not fucking talking about it and not shouting my opinions about it are two very, very different things. And I can do both of those things, and I will.
And if you haven't liked us moaning for the last hour, welcome to episode 32 of a show called Hate.
It's rare that it gets so real, and yet
It's been fewer laughs, this one.
yeah.
I've got quite a funny little piece of what's the word? Writing.
Oh.
Some words, if you will.
Writing.
Which I discovered. Ali showed to me, and it's sorting Brexit. It solves it.
Oh, that'll be good.
Do you want to hear this?
Yeah, I'd love
go
to.
on, yeah.
Okay, right. So here's how we reunite the country. 1, no second referendum. 2, everyone has to apply for a ration card.
Great.
However, you must apply for a leave or remain card before the end of March. In the event of any shortages, those with remain cards will go to the front of any queues for food and medicine, etc. In return, all us remainers shut up and stop moaning, as we'll be fine, because we'll be at the front of those queues. The Brexiters have nothing to worry about, as they all believe we'll be fine anyway.
Yeah.
So everyone's happy. But here's the catch. If fewer than 50% of people apply for leave cards, the government revokes Article 50 on the 28th of March. So you have to be honest about which way you voted, because otherwise we're leaving. So if you did vote to leave, you go get your leave ration card, and you'll just be at the back of the queue, because there's nothing to worry about.
You'll be
Put
fine.
your money where your mouth is. Yeah.
Done.
That would sort the wheat from the chaff.
So if
wouldn't
this
it?
petition doesn't work out, I say we vote for that.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, cool.
Or just, at least a can opener. So
Yeah.
I can work my way through
Maybe an oil
the
can.
ruins
The thing is,
of civilization.
A ration card sounds like a free piece of paper, and I'm going to need everything I can get. Like,
Oh man, yeah. If only just
Just to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
kindling,
Yeah.
going
Well, I'm going to be wallpapering my house with £10 notes before too long. So.
Oh, it's just Project Fear, isn't it? That's just Project
They
Fear.
turned them to plastic just as we'd need them to wallpaper our living
for
rooms.
God's
Oh my
sake.
god, it's like they knew.
Bastards.
Well, this has been fun.
It's been fine.
I hope.
I could go on, but
I could go on forever.
I could keep talking about
Yeah, I
this.
think there's more we could say, but at the end of the day, I think it's,
You and I
just shouting.
sat in a pub, John, the day after the referendum, thinking, "Oh my life, this is a disaster."
It can't possibly get any worse.
We sat in the same pub last Thursday, and we both said, "I can't believe it's been this bad." We thought it'd be bad, and it's been even worse.
It's genuinely been so much worse than I thought it would be.
Anybody could have
And
imagined.
I voted to stay.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff, isn't it? I mean, and as you say, like you're at that point where you're like, okay, look, we lost. If you're gonna leave, just leave.
Yeah.
And frankly, pains me to say it, the best option is May's deal.
Deal, it is.
Yeah.
That is the best thing we have.
Because
Yeah.
because it's a terrible situation, and we have to protect Ireland.
Yeah.
And to do anything else makes us the bad guy.
We have to have a deal, and we have to have a deal that protects Ireland and various other basic human right-based things.
Because it turns out there's this amazing system we were plugged into, which allowed food, medicine, services to instantly travel, not instantly, but to travel from one country to another country with no border checks because we're all governed by the same health rules.
Who'd have fucking thought?
So then of no deal, suddenly beef, all that lovely British beef will be piling up in a traffic jam from Dover to Downing Street.
Remember that glorious summer where the whole country smelled like burning cow corpses?
Yeah.
Well, you don't need to remember it anymore because it's on its way.
It's back, kids. Sign up.
But what's really important is we'll all just feel better about ourselves.
Yeah. Sovereignty.
Oh, man. I hope sovereignty comes with all the essential vitamins and minerals we need, because I'm going to need as much as I can get after this.
I'm just going to eat coal. Do we still have coal?
No.
What
Thatcher shut down the coal industry.
What am I going to use for teeth?
Gummy bears.
Diamonds.
Can we still get gummy bears?
I don't know.
I don't know what we can get anymore. I don't know what the rules are.
This has been a non-party broadcast from the people at a show called Hey.
After the event.
Yeah.
If you're still listening to this in the charred
This will
wastelands of
exist somewhere in the ether once the country is burnt down.
Yeah.
This will be the national anthem.
Jesus Christ. I mean, like, we'll probably get by.
We probably will.
Everything will probably just limp along, but I'll find it a little harder to look in the mirror.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.